Good evening. I trust you've had a wonderful day. Thank you so much for making time for the show. My name is Sarah Otieno. We're live on Family TV, also live on Family Radio, where the music does the talking. Use the WhatsApp number 0786 316 316 to talk to us, and also through the SMS line 20316, and on Facebook and Twitter at Family Radio 316. And let's get talking. Well, today we will be talking about suicidal thoughts. How do you know that someone is having suicidal thoughts, and maybe how can we help them? Well, this is a discussion that we're carrying forward from the radio segment to this one, and it's actually very important to be on the lookout for our brothers and sisters during this time. We'll also be highlighting other stories, including the new editor general that has taken office today, and many more stories. Also, we've recorded the highest cases of the virus since the first case was reported in our country, and now the cases are more than 15,000. That and much more is coming up, but now let's get started. The Council of Governors has raised a red flag over the delay of the National Treasury to release more than 30 billion shillings to the counties. The county chiefs have said counties might record high cases of COVID-19 mortality rates. The Council of Governors chairperson Wycliffe Oparanya, who is also Kakamega governor, in an appeal he made to the National Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yatani, said the situation in the counties is dire. The governor also announced some innovative measures the counties have put in place to help curb the spread of COVID-19.
Use of mobile test technology by community health volunteers and assistants to collect data, which has significantly improved management of the community health volunteers and assistants in the counties. Number two, investment in health insurance schemes by counties. For example, Makueni County, which is investing an additional 200 million annually to run a community health insurance scheme. Also, Makueni County has a capacity build about 45,000 community development leaders, alongside 4,240 community health volunteers to assist in COVID-19 home-based care at the household level.
Well, there we have it, the chairperson of the Council of Governors saying that different counties actually have different innovations to help curb the spread of the virus. And we would like to know from you, what are those innovations that you have seen your county making or doing to help curb the spread of this virus in your county? It could be the local MCA, it could be the governor, or even the CECs or the Ministry of Health in your county. What have you seen them do to help curb the spread of this virus? 0786 316 316. That is on WhatsApp. SMS line 20316. And still speaking of the virus, Kenya has recorded the highest number of the new COVID-19 infections in the last 24 hours, and it's now at 796. This brings the country's total number of cases to 15,601. A total of 6,745 samples were tested in the last 24 hours period. Making the announcement during the daily briefing today, Health Chief Administrative Secretary Dr. Mercy Mwangangi also revealed that another 378 patients have recovered, now bringing the total number of recoveries to 7,135.
Have recorded a 30% increase in cases of violence since the beginning of the pandemic. Worse still, and this really is a shocking statistic, close to 5,000 rape survivors have received medical treatment in health facilities during this period of the pandemic. Children below 18 years bear the greatest burden, as they comprise of 70% of these survivors, with 5% of these survivors being male. Ladies and gentlemen, some people say the measures that we have put in place for the purposes of curtailing the spread of coronavirus disease may have contributed to the aggravation of this violence. And it is important that we point out that these measures do not at all justify any violence being meted out on innocent members of our society, more so women and children. Measures such as movement restrictions, which have been in place and have since been lifted, the disruption of social networks, the loss of income, were all meant to address the COVID-19 pandemic and not intended to trigger or indeed become an excuse for any form of violence. Unemployment, the inability to provide for families, the economic uncertainty that we are facing may have added extra strain and heightened anxieties amongst families. However, again, we do repeat that this is not an excuse to meet any form of violence.
All right, the CIS actually there revealed that close to 5,000 girls have experienced rape during this time of the pandemic, and that is very unfortunate. Remember, today we're asking the question, according to the Council of Governors, different counties are putting up different innovations to help curb the spread of the virus. So I would like to hear from you, from your county. What is that innovation that has been done by the local leaders? Could be the county government, could be the governor himself, or even the MCS, even your chief. What is that innovation or that step that they have taken to help curb the spread of coronavirus in your county? Joseph from Kiserian is saying, on the topic of today, Kiserian, nimeona vijana wakifagia the trenches and clearing the bushes around the roads. If there is someone listening from here, they can correct me if I'm wrong. Thank you so much. And you're saying mental health issues have become a core topic in our society today. It's time we embrace and help those who are affected. Earlier this year, there was a fumigation also in Kiserian being done in the market, but now it's not being done anymore. Thank you so much for that response. Steve Mbithi, thank you for tuning in. There's someone here, you're saying, I'm listening in from Mombasa. On the issue of cleaning, I have seen our governor do something that is very commendable. After the lockdown of Old Town, I have also seen the vijana of that area taking it upon themselves to clean the streets, and that is good news. Thank you so much for tuning in all the way from Mombasa. You can also send in your responses. What is your county doing, or rather, what are the leaders in your area doing? And they're talking of innovations in the counties to help curb the spread of the virus. So what is it that you have seen being done in your area? And now to other news. Former Auditor General Edward Ouko has officially handed over to Nancy Gathungu as Kenya's new Auditor General. Gathungu was all praise for Ouko, saying that she had raised the bar. And then she said, expressed her readiness to make the Auditor General's office better than she found it, as it meets the expectation of the country. Her tenure, she says, will be anchored on 4 pillars, among them independence, credibility, relevance, and accountability. Gathungu, who was sworn in last Friday, said that the first order of business would be to prioritize the backlog of audits occasioned by the delay in the naming of Ouko's replacement.
For continuing to discharge their duties even when there was a gap in leadership. This is an indication of great commitment and professionalism that I am proud to be part of. And I will be looking up to you, colleagues, for support in executing our mandate as enshrined in the Constitution, so that through our work, we can make a difference to the lives of the citizens. Ladies and gentlemen, as I have said before, my tenure will be anchored on 4 pillars. Independence, which I will not give away. I will keep it and I will uphold it. And together with my staff, we'll ensure that we continue working as an independent audit office. Credibility, relevance, and accountability. These 4 pillars will be the guiding principles in our work moving forward to enable us attain where we are lacking, maintain where it is present, and sustain professionalism and the reputation of the Office of the Auditor General as we serve the Kenyan people.
Well, and we wish all the best to the new Auditor General as she takes up office. In Mombasa, there is a teacher who turned her private school into a workshop. This comes after the education calendar of 2020 was discontinued. Shadrach Atik, the owner of New Shami School, says that just after a month of the reopening of the institution in January, they were forced to close again, and now he can only depend on his workshop to earn a living for him and those that he has employed in the furniture workshop. According to Mr. Omar, the chair of private schools in Mombasa, some teachers have even resorted to suicide due to these hard economic times.
Corona imetukuta offbeat. Worst of it all, tumeanza kufungua term. Tumemaliza tu 1 month. Hiyo 1 month baada ya kulipa walimu. The following month ndio nyundo ya corona inapiga. Na nyundo ya corona ikipiga, inakuta some parents, majority, almost 3/4 of the parents, the second month ndio wanaanza kulipa kidogo kidogo, because we are in the agreement, because of the economic hardship.
Mwalimu anaitwa Mr. Rondo amejiua kwa sababu ya kukosa pesa ya kulipa rent. Alikuwa anadaiwa almost 20,000. Amekosa pesa ya kujikimu kimaisha yeye na familia yake. Amekosa pesa ya medical in such a way that familia ilimtoroka.
Pay as you earn tunapeleka. NSSF tunapeleka. NHIF tunapeleka. Permit ya county tunakata. Yearly almost 50,000 Kenya shillings tunakata hiyo. Kila mwalimu kuna malipo inaenda kwa serikali. Watu wa KRA hawezi kutuacha tunwe maji. Tukifungua tu hivi pap, the officers are on the trail. Nani hajalipa?
Well, still talking about mental health and how this pandemic has affected people. Still in matters education, university students are now demanding for the government to continue supporting them through the Higher Education Loans Board funding, which is yet to be released. The students say that this money will be used to help them continue undertaking online classes during this period of COVID-19. And according to their respective schools' president, university students are now unable to get educated due to the lack of proper equipment to undertake online classes. The leaders also claim that some students have been relying on the funding by the government to pay their house rent.
We, as the presidents of the Kenyan universities, are demanding that HELB release 30,000 shillings to every comrade, that they may be able to buy a laptop. We, as the presidents of the universities, are hereby telling HELB it is about time they release those HELB funds. They have not released them because they think we're at home and Comrades' power cannot reign upon anniversary towers. We are telling them that Comrades' power still exists, and we want them to release, and we are demanding them to release HELB funds immediately, so that we can buy bundles to attend online learning. Students have gone home for 4 months. They left their belongings in their houses. A majority of them live outside campus, and right now they're being asked funds to pay their rents. Others are being told to pay 50,000 Kenya shillings during a pandemic. We are calling and we're imploring the government. We are asking President Uhuru Kenyatta, you're the champion of the youth. The way you have championed for Kazi Mtaani, we know you can also champion for rent fee waivership.
All right, the plea there from the university students. Well, someone texted in, hello Sarah, my name is Sharon. I'm tuned in from Kisumu. I would like to say that mental health is real and we have people suffering from suicidal thoughts. My sister is actually a testimony. She's been having these thoughts for quite some time, and right now, after opening up and giving her a conducive environment to speak, she is now feeling better. In Kisumu, naona watu wakifagia streets. Thank you so much for tuning in, and that should be Kazi Mtaani. Thank you for tuning in today, Sharon, all the way from Kisumu. And talking of mental health and suicidal thoughts, I earlier on talked to Dr. Susan Magada, who is a psychiatrist, and she had a lot to say. Listen in. Well, thank you so much, Dr. for joining us today. We'll start by kindly defining what are suicidal thoughts.
Okay, fine. Nice to meet you, Sarah.
Nice to meet you.
Good job you are doing, and for giving me an opportunity so that we can discuss this very important topic.
Yes.
My name is Dr. Susan Magada. I am a mental health specialist, a psychiatrist.
Wow.
Yes.
Nice to meet you,
Yes.
Dr.
Asante sana.
So,
Asante sana. You asked for something.
yes, I asked for, in your words, maybe, in your definition, what are suicidal thoughts?
Okay, thank you, Sarah. Suicidal thoughts, for human beings, you know, they have to think something. As long as we're alive, we are always thinking something. But sometimes the thoughts can be positive. Other times they can be negative.
Yes.
But there are times when they can be like extreme, in which case you are thinking much more of dying rather than living. And you find that maybe very frequently those thoughts come. They are frequent in many people, but there are some people who can have those very frequently.
Yeah.
Maybe some might have thought of death once in a lifetime, but then when suicidal thoughts start coming, probably every day a suicidal ideation closes the mind. So it's not a normal thing. Because the situation is when your thoughts are much more positive and they are towards wanting to be alive rather than wanting to be dead, Sarah. So something that we need to get out of our shelves and start discussing openly, because it's also very frequent when people sometimes experience thoughts of suicidal thoughts, thoughts of wanting to die, or feeling like they don't have the energy to live. And they can be disturbing because for some people, they may feel that they are intrusive thoughts. They are not necessarily the thoughts they want to think about, but they are unwanted thoughts, or sometimes they just feel probably they are disturbing them and they could harm themselves.
Okay.
They start feeling they harm themselves. So when those kind of thoughts are coming and they are disturbing somebody, it is very possible for them now to feel that they can become a danger, maybe to themselves in certain circumstances. It is not a normal thing, and it's something that somebody should understand. If they're having those kind of thoughts, they shouldn't consider them as normal. Something, a default for a human brain should be to want to live, not to want to die. When the thoughts of dying are coming, it might mean that some intervention would be required, Sarah.
All right. And when we talk about this, what can actually cause a person to have suicidal thoughts?
There are many reasons that can cause that to happen. Most of them, some come and they go, but the persistent ones, that can be a problem and that we should be worried about. They may be caused especially by very stressful circumstances that could trigger severe anxiety or depression. Sometimes people who have problems with substance abuse, maybe they're taking, say, alcohol excessively, maybe cannabis or other drugs sometimes. They can cause people now to get that situation where they are feeling suicidal. So mainly it could be depression or any other form of mental illness. It could be, as we are saying, substance abuse, cannabis, drugs that people inject, alcohol, and other things like that. But maybe also things like loneliness, when somebody is feeling that probably they are too lonely, maybe they are too worried, or following some losses. Sometimes you can have some losses where you lose a loved one, or you lose a business, or you lose your income, or you lose a body organ. Like, say, maybe you are amputated, you lose a leg or an eye, or maybe you are too sick, you are losing your health. You used to have energy, but now that energy is gone. Those kind of can trigger sometimes suicidal thoughts via a pathway that has stress, that has severe anxiety, that has depression that can create confusion also and can cause you to actually deviate from the norm.
All right.
Sarah.
All right. And look at it this way. Right now we have the pandemic, you know,
Yes.
and sadly these cases of mental health and also in general abuse in the families is also coming up. Can we also say that because having a tragic times, I'll call it tragic, like a pandemic, can actually cause someone to have suicidal thoughts?
Yes, for sure. Sarah, you are right. We are living very difficult times, and so many things have changed.
Yeah.
And some have changed not for the better, but we can't also say for the worse, because sometimes you may not tell when a certain something happens. Later on, it can be a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, sure.
Sometimes you cannot tell everything from the beginning to the end. When you are going through a phase, you might not be concluding about everything, because some things can be good, like when you are studying, Sarah.
Yeah.
Okay, and you have exams. You're not always feeling very good about those exams because you have to study during the night.
Yes.
And maybe sometimes you may feel unprepared for the examination. But although you may feel sad, and some people, even when they are studying, they can feel suicidal when their academic grades drop.
Yes.
They can feel so depressed and suicidal. But you know, studies is not a bad thing. Because eventually when you are through and you qualify, you graduate or you go through the school,
Yeah.
You're happy. So necessarily whatever you're going through as an exam or as a test was not necessarily an extremely bad thing that was meant to make you die. But maybe somebody can talk to me and let me know it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, sure.
And everyone is experiencing some of these challenges. If we are able to help and support one another and we defeat the pandemic, we will be better than when we started.
All right. And okay, before we talk more on how it can be solved, maybe I'm just seated in a house with my sister or my family member, maybe my parents. How will I know, or rather, what are the signs of someone who has a suicidal thought?
Thank you, Sarah, for that question, because wherever we are staying with the people who feel suicidal and sometimes even attempt and sometimes even end up committing suicide are within society. They are within our families.
Yes.
So what we need is to first of all be very alert. First of all, as an individual, you just know that the first thing is the way through this media, you are spreading awareness.
Yes.
When people get to know that those things are happening to many others, they are able to now know how to survive and to go ahead. But maybe briefly, just to say that a person who might be having suicidal thoughts, not everyone will show, because there may be some of those people who may be smiling, but probably deep inside, they are really
thoughts. Yeah.
Yes, and they are really hurting. And because of the stigma that's there in our society, sometimes nobody wants to know to know what they are thinking and that they have negative thoughts. But sometimes you can see certain behavior, just changes of mood. Somebody is looking quite often or moody, moody often. They don't probably even, they can want to isolate themselves.
Yeah.
They are irritable. When you talk to that person, you just find, okay, somebody you are relating to very well, sir. And now sort of want to be withdrawn. Then they have an attitude that's negative attitude towards you. Their sleep patterns might have changed. They could be sleeping too much.
Yeah.
The whole day somebody wants to be in bed. Or they could be sleeping too little.
Yeah.
They want to watch television or watch other things like that throughout the night. They're not following the normal rhythms that the body should have. The sleep cycle, the waking cycle, because that is what settles the physiological needs or the biological needs of the body.
Yeah.
So they could be, we have talked about irritability. Those who some people indulge, wanakunywa, they take a lot of maybe substances. They they were not taking alcohol. Now they have started taking some of those substances. They are generally are finding that like their friends have neglected them. They are complaining a lot. Some things like that, but sometimes inability to want to have any motivation to pursue their dreams. At home, maybe somebody who was clean, now they are self-neglected. You see their rooms, or they are unkempt. They used to be fat, but now they don't care.
They're shaggy.
They had appetite and for food they would want to cook, but now they don't care again. They are not interested in life. Some people write notes. In their notes they write negative things, or they talk to people negative things. Some people write suicidal notes. Sometimes some people can want to start distributing, anakupatia laptop yake.
Anakuambia bye.
Na nakueleza bye, kwani unaenda wapi?
Sure.
A situation like that, maybe, so that now the behavior in a way changes, but they are likely to be moody, they are likely to be depressed, they are likely to be irritable, but mainly their behavior is likely to change. They don't want to socialize with other people. They might feel they want to, but each case can be unique in one way or the other, Sarah.
All right. And lastly, maybe, can we find a solution to these thoughts that people are having, either through treatment or even as a family? How can we find a solution to such thoughts when a person is actually feeling suicidal?
The first thing is, Sarah, I would say, is for people to be aware that the problems of stress, the problem of anxiety, panic attacks, hopelessness, feelings of worthlessness, they are very prevalent in our generation because of the multiple challenges we face every day. But suicide is not a solution. It just creates more problems. You may attempt a suicide and you don't succeed, and it still creates more problems for you. And you are also, even if it succeeds, you are actually creating a lot more problems for other people. I don't think just because you have a problem, you want to increase problems in the world. So the first thing is just general awareness that we should not feel we are supermen or superwomen, and that nothing can never affect us. We are superheroes. Sometimes it is possible for us to accept that we are human beings, and that as human beings we can face certain challenges. We have some downtime, and we have some times when we are feeling much better with ourselves. We should allow seasons to come, because, Sarah, the winter season, like now, July is a bit cold in many places. But still, before very long, you find January comes, and it's actually hot and warmer. So as a human being, Sarah, you find these seasons come and these seasons go. Don't think that dying is a solution. It is just creating more problems to people who cared for you. And everyone has somebody who cares for them. It could be who you left agonizing. It could be your friend in school who you left now wondering what to do. It could be a husband who you leave now wondering what they can do, or a wife. So not good for you as you are solving your own issues to now go ahead and terrorize others through an action that actually will leave them a lot traumatized. There is one accepting that, yes, as human beings, we can face ups and downs. We can have the winter and the summer, the warm times and the cold times. Once we accept that, and also, Sarah, to accept the changes that happen with the change, because one time you are in primary school, but another time you're out of school. So cannot now insist, well, mother used to cook for me when I was in primary, now she's not cooking any food for me, or she hates me a lot, I think I should die. It's just another thing now, Sarah. When maybe now you can cook your own food, now you can have your own room, now you can help with the house chores, and like before, because you are bigger. Let us not resist changes so much. We should accept those changes. And also for the, what can you do, Sarah? You can be kind. Let us show compassion. Let us be kind to one another.
Yeah.
Just being reasonable. Listen to the people. Don't ignore others or ignore their problems.
All
The
right.
big question we should ask all of us, Sarah, would be, what can I do to help the person next to me? Rather than thinking, what can the other person next to me do to help me?
Yeah.
Okay. Fine, as we are helping another person, we'll find answers and solutions to our own problems. But when you keep quiet with your own problems, you don't want to help others solve theirs, you don't want them to solve yours either, you are not open to them, then it becomes a problem. You close up, and then by the time things explode, maybe it's too late, Sarah.
All right. Well,
And
thank
then
you.
dangerous happens, which unwarranted. These are tough times. Everyone should be as courageous as possible.
Yeah.
The problems will come and go. The changes come and go, and better seasons come. Let us encourage one another. Let us know that we can be weak, and we seek for help where help can be found. And when we are in a position ourselves, let us help the other person. Maybe by encouraging them, praying for them, something like that.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Daktari. Thank you. That's all I can say. Thank you for that information. I know it's going to help somebody somewhere.
That is true, Sarah. Thank you for this opportunity.
Your name is Eric. Thank you so much for tuning in. Esi Kimenyi. He's saying, I am glad for that information. Really helpful. Thank you so much. Beatrice from Kisumu, asante for tuning in. And I also have someone who was tuning in and is saying, Sarah, I really love how you've brought out that information. Your name is Charles from Nyakach. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Remember, as Dr. Susan said in that interview, we need to be our brother's keeper. Look out for your brother or your sister, because some of us just need someone to listen to. Okay? So take up that challenge. In the meantime, a powerful Long March 5 rocket blasted off today, carrying a Chinese orbiter, a lander, and a rover on a 7-month visit to Mars. The second of 3 high-stakes missions to the Mars planet will be successful, and if it is successful, will put China on the forefront of interplanetary exploration. Well, if successful again, it will put China in a place in the front lines when it comes to moving from one planet to another in terms of exploration. And again, during this time, children are at home. So most children do not know what to do with their time. Parents have come up with different ways of making sure they keep their children busy, apart from education-wise. And one Obama Okwanga, an 11-year-old boy, is now working with his father in his mechanical shop. And this is after his father says this will keep him busy.
Mbani saa zingine unakaa, unaboeka, hakuna marafiki. Ndio sasa nikabidi nikuje na yeye ili nimsaidie.
Na anaweza kupiga primer, anaweza kusugua. Mahali anasugua unapata hata mtu mzima anasugua akirukaruka, lakini kusugua kwake inaenda smooth.
Kama hakuna kazi mingi, achenchinga anatuachia sisi tunafanya. Na tukimaliza tunamwambia tumemaliza. Hiyo pesa akipewa ana save.
Watoto wakikaa kwa estate wanarandaranda, ukirudi jioni unapata kama kesi iko mingi. Na hapa vile tunakuja naye iko 1-2 anajifunza ambayo itasaidia kwa maisha ya baadaye. Hata kama mimi hapana iko anaweza.
Well, that is good news, because our children can finally help us in the home. Doesn't matter what kind of work they are doing. If they are willing to learn, yes, they will learn. Beth from Kiserian, thank you so much for tuning in, and also for the prayer request that you have sent. We also have Jalango Hezekiah from Muhoroni, and you're saying, I'm really blessed by the teaching this evening. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate. Remember to send in your prayer requests, because Prayer Circle is coming in next on Family TV and Family Radio. Use the WhatsApp number 0786 316 316, SMS line 20316, and we will get to pray together. Also tomorrow morning we'll be having Devotion Hour and Jam 316 with Pastor James Okumu. Make sure to tune in. Thank you so much for tuning in to the show. My name is Sarah Otieno, and I will see you tomorrow.
For this and more of our shows, log on to www.familymediaonline.com to enjoy a wide variety of programs, from current affairs to testimonials and features, pastoral and inspirational shows, kids entertainment, and so much more. Also stream live on www.familymedia.tv.